que estamos en un maratón de traducción. Pero,
Because we had a meeting in the middle, yeah.
Porque tuvimos una reunión en
Okay.
el espacio intermedio.
All right.
Ok, somos 16. We're 16.
Okay, definitely. All right, so we can start. We should start. You ready?
Yes. Con la
Okay.
ayuda de Hashem empezamos.
Okay, we're going to help. And so we're going to do today about the Akedah.
Vamos a ver la porción de Akeida.
And this, like, this is from the hardest things to understand. This part.
Esto es de las partes más difíciles de entender.
It's until now. Well, I mean, we have, we know Avram had 10 trials.
Sabemos que Abraham tuvo 10 pruebas.
And so until this one, we could somehow relate to what what went on. I mean, to a certain extent, we could relate to it.
Y en cierta medida podemos relacionarnos, identificarnos con esto.
For all the trials, we could imagine, we could picture ourselves in the trial and this and trying to deal with the situation.
Ponernos en el lugar de Abraham, en cada una de esas pruebas, imaginarnos qué fue, cómo se sintió a pasarlas.
Just that this one is especially like mind bending. This one.
Solo que esta es hasta como una torcedora de cerebro, de neuronas. Está difícil entenderla.
So that one thing, so we'll try to attempt to understand it, what it means, this thing, and
vamos a intentar entender qué significa, qué es.
What it means, and
¿Cuál es su significado?
Okay, so in between basically what we did yesterday and Akedah, so you have Yitzchak is born over there.
Lo que vimos ayer y la parashat o esta parte de Akedah, las ataduras de Isaac, ¿qué pasó? Pues en la parashat pasada, en el porción que vimos ayer, nace Isaac.
So by the time you get to the story of the Akedah, he's already 37 years old.
Y para cuando llega a esta parte de la Akedah, ya tiene 37 años de edad.
And most of the commentaries say this, like we said, this is the peak of the 10 tests, the trials that Avram went through.
Y la mayoría de los comentaristas dicen que esta fue la parte más elevada de todas las pruebas que tuvo Abraham.
Right. And so Shem, promised him to have a son, and then the son would inherit him, and he would, and so on and so forth, and that he would be a father of like the father or the king of all the nations eventually. And
Hashem le había prometido a Abraham que él iba a tener un hijo y que este hijo iba de su descendencia se iba a heredar el rey que gobernara el mundo.
Right, but all of a sudden Hashem says, take your child and bring him as an offering.
Pero de repente Hashem dice, toma a tu hijo y tráelo como una ofrenda.
Right. And Abraham doesn't ask any questions. That's it. He's ready to go, and that's it.
Abraham no hace preguntas. Él se alista y está listo para salir.
Right. And remember, if there would be, like, you remember before, like when Sarah laughed, the Torah right away said she laughed. I mean,
Y
it
recordemos
said
que
inside she laughed. Subconsciously she laughed. That's what happened before.
en días pasados cuando vimos que, bueno, que visitaron los ángeles, bueno, los siervos, se fue dicho y quedó escrito en la Torah que Sara se rió, pero está dicho que se rió internamente y quedó registrado.
Right, and so by over here, it doesn't say that he protested at all. So that means that even subconsciously there was no protest here.
Si la Torah entró en esos detalles, si Abraham hubiera tenido dudas internas, hubiera quedado tan escrito como quedó escrito la risa interna de Sara.
Right. Right. So who could understand such the level of a person that doesn't have doesn't feel like he wants to protest? I mean, it's not. Who could understand?
¿Quién puede entender este nivel cuando la persona ni siquiera alberga un deseo de protestar?
Right. And he prepared himself. It says he got up early. He prepared himself.
Dice que se levantó temprano y se preparó.
And then he traveled for 3 days. It says.
Y luego viajó durante 3 días.
Right, and the sages say that in the 3 days, in the Midrashim it says like the Satan try to get him to stop for 3 days and to stop to.
Y el Midrashim dice que aún el Satán trató durante esos 3 días de impedirle que siguiera avanzando.
And he made, he made it, it says he made things difficult. He had to go through, it says he had to go through water up until his neck.
Y le puso difícil el camino. Está escrito que él tuvo que atravesar lugares con agua que le llegaba hasta el cuello.
That means he tried to. I mean, that's I would say like an allegorical speak. He tried to put thought into his mind somehow to get any opposing thing into his mind, any oppositional force to take hold of it.
El Satán usó cualquier fuerza de oposición para lanzarle a Abraham.
That means it's up to his neck in the water is allegorical speak, and it means that he tried to get anything to get into any opposing force to get into his mind.
Esa expresión de que tenía el agua hasta el cuello es una manera alegórica de expresar que le lanzó todo lo que tenía el Satán para impedir que Abraham obedeciera.
He tried to get something in his mind to be some argument against the whole thing.
Metió pensamientos en su cabeza que provocaran argumentos.
Okay. But somehow, so this is really the big part of the trial here. But Avram made it through.
Estos 3 días son gran parte de la prueba y Abraham la pasó.
And then they came to the place finally.
Y por fin llegaron al lugar.
And they took all the stuff, the wood and the knife he took with him.
Sacaron de lo que traían allí empacado, la leña, el cuchillo.
Right. Now all of a sudden Yitzchak realized something. He said, I see this, you have everything, but where do you have the offer? Where's the offering?
Y entonces Isaac pudo decir, bueno, pues aquí tenemos todo lo necesario, excepto la ofrenda. ¿Dónde está la ofrenda?
Right. So in his words, he said, we'll see. We'll see. God will show us already what the offering is.
Y él contestó, pues ya veremos. Hashem proveerá.
But there's a hint here, really. There's a hint that it's he's the offering. There's a hint in these words that Yitzchak is the offering.
Aquí hay una insinuación de que Isaac es la ofrenda.
And I mean, in our way, according to the sages, so he did. Yitzchak did comprehend this in this time. In that moment, he did comprehend.
Y entendemos que Isaac aquí ya comprendió de qué se trataba.
But you see that in his relationship with his father and the education that he had from his father for 37 years, so now he was willing to go along completely with his father. If it's whatever he trusted his father, that whatever he thought is right, so then he would go along with it.
Durante los 37 años de su vida con su papá, la educación que había recibido de su papá había provocado en Isaac que confiara plenamente en Abraham.
Right. And so therefore also over here, but also in Yitzchak, there's no subconscious resistance.
Entonces, tampoco queda registrado en la Torá que Isaac tuviera resistencia interna.
Because and that's it says in the verse. They both went together. Together is they were together. There was no resistance. No conflict.
Cuando dice allí en Bereshit 19 al final que dice que fueron juntos, el hecho de que caminaran juntos es que no había resistencia.
Right? How does a person get to such a point where the children don't, resist them at all? I mean, how could a person get to such a place? I mean,
¿cómo puede una persona llegar a ese nivel, a ese punto donde no reniegue ni a nivel interno?
right. So probably first you get yourself to be like that. First, make it that within yourself there's no conflict. I mean.
Entonces, primero tiene uno que llegar a vivir de tal forma sin conflicto.
Within yourself.
Adentro de uno.
Then you can. There's a possibility that with your children you could also be like this, and be like that.
Y cuando ya eres así, cuando tienes tus niños, tus hijos, así aprenden de ti.
Right, but if it's not like that, and for most people, of course, in these things, there's an internal conflict. For myself, and probably for most people, only a few unique people here and there. So so you can expect also certain conflicts with your children. That's how it goes.
Solo unas cuantas personas pueden llegar a este nivel, porque todo mundo tiene conflicto y pues cría hijos con conflictos.
Internal. First of all, everybody has internal
conflictos internos.
Within themselves. I know I do, so for sure.
Yo sé, dice el Rab, que yo lo sé.
People do. There's only in the world a few people that succeed to get past this.
Muy poquita gente logra con éxito llegar a estar sin conflictos internos.
Right, but of course it also goes according to the numbers. We always said that there's a scale of 1 to 1,000, so it always goes like that. How much? Is it 1,000 conflict, or is it less, or whatever?
Y midiendo estas virtudes, pues siempre tenemos la métrica de 1 en 1000, de 1 a 1000, ¿En qué lugar estamos de esos conflictos internos? Van disminuyendo.
Right. But the greatness here in the story is that Avram didn't have, he free from this eternal conflict. Both of them were free. That's the greatness here in this thing.
Lo más grandioso de este pasaje es que tanto el papá como el hijo estaban libres de esos conflictos internos.
Right. Who can imagine that in such a situation that people would be free of, because this is the most potentially conflicting for possibility, and but then they are free of this thing. Who could imagine such a thing?
¿Quién puede imaginar, entender o llegar a ser alguien ante tanta adversidad y no tener conflictos internos? Estar libre,
Right.
libre
Now
de
in the world,
temores.
look how much. I'm sorry. Now in the world, look how much conflict. You know, the conflict between parents and children. Basically, the parent try to get the children basically not to change from a man into this into a woman and woman. That's too much for the children. They can't handle it.
Ahora, ¿cómo está el mundo con los padres contra los hijos? Y a puntos tan ridículos como el padre diciéndole que no puede pasar de hombre a mujer.
But it's too much. It's too much.
Es demasiado conflicto interno ahora.
Right, and it really says that it says in actually the last prophecy that we have from all
La
the prophets.
última profecía que tenemos.
It says Elijah the prophet was going to come to repair the breach between the parents and children and parents.
Consiste en que Elías profetizó que se va a sanar.
No, he himself will come. Elijah the prophet
Él
will
vendrá
arrive, will come.
a restaurar la relación entre padres e hijos.
Right, but we see, so then that means, but we see here, I mean, this is like a perfection of this thing, and Avram and Yitzchak, they perfected this thing. It's a very profound example. It's very, very profound.
Esta relación padre-hijo en la manera más perfeccionista que puede darse se dio en Abraham e Isaac. Esto es lo más maravilloso de esta porción.
Okay, and then so they went up to the top of the mountain and prepared, and he took the knife.
Bueno, entonces subieron arriba de la montaña, tomaron su cuchillo.
Right, and then a voice called out and said,
y de repente se oyó una voz que decía,
don't do, don't touch it. Don't touch
no lo toques, no le hagas nada.
Right, and it says, because now I can see, you basically demonstrated that you fear God.
Porque básicamente has demostrado que temes a Hashem, a Dios.
Okay, so this is practically like the peak, could be the peak of any actions that any person ever did, and this is this point right here, this thing.
Esto puede ser el clímax, la parte más alta que cualquier ser humano haya logrado mostrar.
Right, and then they found another, and there was an animal there in the bushes, and they.
Y encontraron un animal allí entre los arbustos.
Right, and this place really ended up to be the mount where the base of Mikdash is. In this place.
Esa montaña es el monte donde tiempo después se va a edificar el templo, el Bet Hamikdash.
Okay. Okay, so that's this is the story what we have here with Al-Qaeda.
Esta es la historia que tenemos de Al-Qaeda.
Just that overall, so what do we see here? I mean,
entonces, en general, ¿qué vemos aquí?
I'm not that on the peak level of serving Hashem, on the
en la forma más elevada de servir a Hashem.
So a person is expected, to really realize that there's nothing in the world, only Hashem.
Se espera que la persona se dé cuenta de que no hay nada en el mundo aparte de Hashem.
And the only thing that's good in the world is what Hashem says. What Hashem says, that's for sure the greatest good, and nothing else could be better, and that's it.
Y entender que no hay nada bueno o mejor que lo que Hashem dice que es bueno.
And nothing that a person could perceive at all interferes with that thing.
Y que nada de lo que llegamos a ver interfiera con aquello que dice Hashem.
So the strongest force in a person is like the will to live.
Una de las cosas más fuertes en una persona es el deseo de vivir.
It's said to be the strongest like force of the physical force of a person.
La fuerza física de la persona.
Rav Weinberg said this is the strongest force in a person.
El Rav Weinberg dijo que esta es la forma, la presentación más fuerte de la voluntad de una persona.
Right, because you see, when the life is in danger, what is the person capable of doing?
Podemos ver cómo cuando una persona está bajo amenaza de muerte es capaz de hacer cosas inauditas.
Right, and also they say in relation to a child, like sometimes they say there's stories that the mother can even pick up a car to save the child, they say.
Hay cosas que han sucedido como una mujer, una mamá que pueda levantar un carro, un coche, un auto por salvar a su hijo.
And so basically the force of caring for your children is connected to this force of the will to live. And
esa fuerza que conecta a padres con hijos es una fuerza tan grande como las ganas de vivir.
It's connected to it. I'm not sure if
está
I don't know if
conectado,
it's the same.
relacionado.
It's connected. It's close to it, and so here both these things, and Avram was his whole life was dedicated to kindness and to people.
Entendamos que Abraham 137 años de dedicarse a la bondad.
So then over here, he had to basically say, only thing has value above all of these things only has value is what Hashem says. Hashem wants.
Todo lo que he vivido, todo lo que he pensado, no tiene el mismo valor que lo que Hashem está diciendo.
That's what he had to. So he had to be able to put everything aside and say only this has real value, and that's it.
Él tuvo que tener la habilidad de poner de al lado todo lo que él sabía, tenía, era para obedecer a Hashem.
Only what Hashem wants that has value.
Solo lo que Hashem demanda es realmente lo valioso.
And so that's called fearing God, because there's nothing else has significance, only this.
A esa forma de vivir se le llama tener temor de Hashem, tener temor de
Nothing,
Dios.
right. So it's nothing about yourself, which is right. I mean, the reason for this is because really Hashem knows the greatest good, and whatever Hashem wants, that's certainly going to be better for a person than anything a person could imagine on their own.
Solo Hashem sabe lo que se necesita, lo que debe
Greatest
de...
good.
Bueno,
The
el bien
greatest good.
mayor, la más grande bendición, solo Hashem
And so,
conoce.
so whatever a person may think is good is really not really the greatest good, and only what Hashem says, that's really the greatest good.
Solo lo que Hashem dice es realmente el más grande bien.
And whatever person feels also needs to, it doesn't come into the picture, because when it comes to this, that you may feel different things, but it doesn't come into the picture. Only what Hashem wants is greater than what you may feel.
Lo que la persona sienta no tiene gran importancia en escoger lo que Hashem dice que es mejor. No lo voy a juzgar de acuerdo a como yo siento. Mis
Right, and so
sentimientos no cuentan.
That's like the water that comes up to here. So in the mind, that's everything, all the other feelings. But in the mind, a person knows that the soul and the mind, they say to serve Hashem. That's the great. That's what has real value.
Esa alegoría de tener el agua hasta el cuello es dejar afuera a flote la mente con los pensamientos que escogen lo mejor que Hashem dice que es lo mejor para mí.
Right. And throughout our history, really, the people are asked to also follow in the example of this example.
Nosotros estamos siendo inducidos a seguir este ejemplo.
Okay, and so we have many stories, of people that were in position of to have to give their life.
Y sabemos de muchas historias donde hubo personas que fueron puestas en una situación en donde debían de poner su vida.
How Rabbi Akiva, that he sacrificed his life, put his life in danger for the sake of teaching students.
El Rabbi Akiva puso su vida en peligro con tal de enseñar a sus alumnos.
And then in the end, the Romans took his life,
y al final de sus días los romanos le quitaron la vida.
So at the time he had to do it he didn't go like with a heavy heart. He went that I'm glad I'm able now to serve Hashem in this way.
La manera en que le quitaron la vida fue muy dolorosa, pero Rabbi Akiva no estaba triste, estaba agradecido, estaba gozoso de poder pasar por eso.
Right, and we had there's a famous rabbi among the Ashkenazim. There was a famous rabbi from like 900 years ago that.
Entre los Ashkenazi hubo un rabino muy famoso hará unos 900 años.
And somehow the king over there, whatever, demanded that he go over to Christianity or whatever.
Y por alguna razón el rey de ese entonces, de ese lugar, demandaba que este rab se hiciera cristiano.
He forced him to debate, and of course he won the debate. I mean.
Y usó la maniobra de obligarlo a un debate con el cristianismo. Y el rabino ganó el debate.
But so then he said, basically, if you don't convert, then I'm going to cut, I'll cut off your hands, I'll cut off your feet, I'll cut out your tongue and whatever.
Pero después de ganar el debate, el rey de todas maneras le dijo, mira que si no te conviertes, te voy a cortar la cabeza, te voy a cortar los pies, te voy a cortar la lengua.
And he said no, and not
Y él
converting.
dijo, no me voy a convertir.
And he cut out all these things,
Y el rey le cortó todo esto.
and then they put him in the synagogue, and they brought him at that point. They brought him somehow to the synagogue right when he was, about to pass away. They brought him to the synagogue.
Justo antes de morir, lo trajeron amputado a la sinagoga.
Right. I don't know how, but at that point they say he composed this beautiful prayer, and that we say in the synagogues. We say it every it was Rosh Hashanah on that time. It was Rosh Hashanah, and we say this beautiful prayer in the synagogues all the time. And then he composed the most beautiful prayer that we all say even to this day.
Era Rosh Hashanah, el día que lo llevaron a la sinagoga ya amputado antes de morir. Y él allí les hizo escuchar un hermoso rezo que él compuso, right, y que hasta el día de hoy decimos en Rosh Hashanah.
Right. I have no idea how he did it. If his tongue, I don't know practically how he actually composed it. He didn't have a tongue and he didn't have hands. I really don't know, but somehow we have the prayer we have.
Yo no sé cómo le hizo porque no tenía manos, no tenía lengua, pero de alguna manera él compartió este rezo.
Yeah. Maybe he did have a tongue. I don't know. Maybe they only cut off his hands and feet. Possibly. Maybe he did have a tongue.
En ese punto solo le cortaron las piernas y los brazos.
Okay. And that's another example. And from the Holocaust, there's so many examples. There's many examples from the going down to our times in the Holocaust. There's many examples.
Hay en los testimonios del Holocausto muchas historias como esta.
Right. Just one comes to mind.
Una me viene a la mente.
That it was the yeshiva of Slobodka, I think. Slobodka Yeshiva.
Creo que era la yeshiva de Slobodka.
Now, the younger people managed to run away, just that was left there, older people, a certain group of people were left there that didn't run away.
La gente joven logró escaparse, pero los viejos no.
And one of the leaders there was a student of the Chafetz Chaim, Reb Wasserman.
Uno de los líderes allí era, one of the leaders was the teacher or the what?
Student of the Chafetz Chaim, Reb Wasserman.
Era un estudiante del Chafetz Chaim.
Reb Wasserman, his name was.
Reb Wasserman.
Right, and he was actually in England, and he came back because he didn't want to leave his people, and even though he knew that his life would be in danger.
Aunque él estaba en Inglaterra, cuando se enteró, él quiso volver a pesar de poner su vida en peligro.
And at that point, they found out that they're going to be taken they were taking people to be shot, and they found out that the next day they were going to be taken to be shot. They were taking them already.
En ese entonces ya se estaban dando cuenta de procedimientos y sabían que al día siguiente los iban a fusilar, a matar en el paredón.
So they asked Rav Wasserman to give a shiur on about the mitzvah of to sanctify God's name.
Y en vísperas de ese día le pidieron a este Rab que diera un shiur sobre cómo santificar el nombre del Eterno.
Okay, and they were older people; they were not capable of running anywhere, whatever. That's why they were still there.
Y recordemos que eran ancianos, no era gente que podía escapar.
And some of the younger people stayed there because they couldn't leave them because they wanted to take care. They couldn't leave their parents and stuff because they felt they needed to take care of them.
Y sí había unos que otros personas más jóvenes porque no sintieron bien ponerse a salvo ellos y dejar a sus ancianos padres.
Right. They were very righteous people, and they were dedicated, very very dedicated to the parents, and they didn't even consider that they should leave the parents.
Eran personas justas y piadosas que no sentían el permiso o la libertad de abandonar a sus padres.
And so then the time came, and they took them, whatever the Nazis and whoever it was, Lithuanians took them.
Llega el paso del tiempo y otras gentes toman control de ellos como los de Lituania.
The Lithuanians who worked with the Nazis, whatever, there were always like these blackguards that worked together with the Nazis from all the local places.
Siempre hubo gente dañada, perversa, que trabajó, colaboró con los nazis en cada país.
And so they took them, and really when they went singing, and even when they got to the place, they were singing and dancing, that they were ready to do this mitzvah. And
cuando llegaron por ellos para llevárselos a fusilar, estos ancianos, esta gente, iba cantando y danzando a su fusilamiento.
And then whatever, they shot them all at that point. They took them, they dug a pit, and they forced them to dig a pit or something like that, and then they shot them all and covered them up with dirt. And
los malos los obligaron a cavar sus propias fosas. Hicieron un hoyo grande y luego los fusilaron a un
Rabbi
lado.
Wasserman was a very great tzaddik, but they went singing, and Rabbi Wasserman was a great tzaddik, very, very great tzaddik. You can't imagine.
Y el rab que les dio el shur sobre cómo exaltar el nombre era un gran rab y también murió con ellos.
Right. How do we know the story?
¿Cómo es que sabemos esta historia?
Because there was a younger girl there, and right when they started shooting, she dropped in and acted as if she was shot.
Sabemos de esta historia porque hubo una chica que en el momento que se dieron los primeros disparos, ella brincó al hoyo y se hizo pasar por muerta.
And then after she managed to dig herself out, and she survived. She survived the war.
Y al rato que se terminó todo y se fueron, ella se las ingenió para salir a superficie de nuevo.
And she survived, and she tells us she's the one that tells us what happened.
Ella sobrevivió y ella dio a conocer esta historia.
Okay, so you can ask, I mean, but why? So, why are we called on? For these tzaddikim, these righteous people, a lot is expected of them, and they're expected to somehow follow the example of Avram Avinu in this thing. That whatever you see here that's not has a real significance. What mainly is to do what Hashem wants, and the whole thing to them was it's a mitzvah. That's all.
Para los grandes tzaddikim, cosas tan duras o tan difíciles para los normales son requeridas. Es la manera en que Hashem lo diseñó.
Right. The only thing that mattered to them was that they're doing a mitzvah. That's what really had value. That's what really had value there.
Para esta gente, en ese día, en esos momentos, lo único que importaba es que ellos estaban camino a hacer una mitzvah.
Right. And to make sure to do it properly. That's what they were considering.
Y lo que les ocupaba su mente era realizar esa mitzvah de la mejor manera, la mitzvah
Just
de
like
llevar
Avraham Avinu is. But Avraham Avinu was the example. That's
Y Abraham Avinu fue el ejemplo de cómo hemos de santificar el nombre.
why, so why does Hashem want this from a person? Because this is the highest good. That's why. And Hashem understands that this is the highest good. That's all.
Nosotros nos preguntamos, ay, ¿por qué tiene que pasar así? ¿Por qué tiene que ser tan doloroso, tan difícil? Lo que entendemos es que para Hashem, en la percepción de Hashem, esto es el más grande bien que le puede suceder a una persona.
Okay. So, all right. So that's what we have with this lesson, and see if there's questions.
Oh, yes,
Comments.
there are a lot. A ver, vamos a ver desde dónde. Andrés dice, vivir sin conflictos en nuestro interior para servir a Hashem con integridad. Me llevo esto de esta enseñanza. Oh, Andrés grabs the teaching of living without inner conflict,
Right.
to be able to serve Hashem.
Sure, but for us, this is something that we have to work on our whole life. This is a goal that we have to work on.
Es la
That's how it
meta
is for
para
me.
toda la vida. Darío, sin conflictos internos, ¿cómo podremos mejorar? ¿Los conflictos internos no serían como un indicador de que debemos cambiar algo en nosotros? How could we live without inner conflict? Don't those inner conflict help us, show us what we need to change?
No, but the goal actually is to get out of it and to move away from the conflict, not just to remain forever in conflict. The goal is to grow, to get past it.
La meta es sobrepasar el conflicto, llegar a vivir sin conflicto interno. El conflicto puede estar en la vida, pero no adentro.
To go up the ladder from you could be 1,000 points conflict, but to drop down to 900 or whatever, to make it less. Not, we can't expect zero, certainly not, but make it less. That's all.
Está casi imposible esperar que tengamos cero conflicto interior. Pero de los 1000 puntos, si le bajas a 900 ya es ganancia. La meta es llegar a vivir sin conflicto, irle bajando. Andrés, Rab, ¿qué nos quiere enseñar Hashem con estos casos que nos parecen tan tristes?
Right. Well, I try to explain that, I think, in the share. So.
Yeah. Creo que ya lo expliqué después de que lo preguntó. Bueno, Rodolfo, los viejos formamos parte de la resistencia para que los jóvenes cumplan la misión encomendada. We old people are part of the resistance so that young people could do well within their own mission.
Right. Well, sure, that's true, but we understand. I don't understand, but Avraham Avinu was an example of somehow that he succeeded in educating them until the younger person did understand. I mean.
Bueno, tuvieron éxito los viejos en persistir hasta que los jóvenes entiendan.
Not that we should just stay in a position of just resistance. I mean.
No basta con que el viejo tenga la posición de resistencia en sí, sino que tiene que transmitir.
Right, but we talked, right, I mean, we talked about this, how in the world, really there are people in the world that now that are doing everything possible to promote this conflict, because that was how the communists overthrew that's exactly how the communists overthrew, that's exactly how they did revolutions in the world in the last century. You pit the younger people against the older people. So people are doing now everything they can to try to cause this division.
Esa es la fórmula para llevar a cabo revoluciones, poner a los jóvenes en contra de los mayores.
And so the people are trying now, more than ever in the world, there are people trying as hard as they can to promote this conflict. More than we ever had in history.
Ahora en nuestros tiempos, más que en ningún otro momento en la historia, hay manipuladores que están muy ocupados en llevar a cabo este conflicto entre jóvenes y mayores. Eliseo, muy triste eso. Vivía con un sobreviviente, un fugitivo de Auschwitz, se llamaba Jacob Gabor, era húngaro. Me contó por lo que pasaron en los campos.
Wow, that's very interesting, very interesting.
Interesante. Johnny, ¿qué representa el carnero que se enreda en los arbustos y sirve como víctima del sacrificio? Johnny asks, what does the ram that was stuck in the bushes represent as a sacrifice victim?
Right. I don't know. Perhaps it represents the offerings that were brought over there in the temple from all that we had. It represents that.
Tal vez represente las ofrendas en el altar. Ese monte va a ser el del templo, donde va a estar el altar.
Right. It represents the offerings that were brought in the temple in all those years, and that was.
Representa todos los sacrificios que durante todos los años del primer y segundo templo.
In fact, the offering that was brought, when we bring the constant offering, we even it says there that you tie it up in the form that that Yitzchak was tied over there for the also you tie it. So it's almost like parallels that.
La ofrenda continua, o que también se le conoce como el holocausto continuo, el animalito que se ofrecía en la mañana y en la tarde de todos los días, aún en Shabbat, se debía amarrar como se amarró a Isaac. Y es que Akedah means tying, right?
Yeah, it's a certain type of tying.
La palabra Akedah, nosotros debemos de acostumbrarnos a referirnos a esta porción de la historia como las ataduras de Isaac, porque en hebreo Akedah es una forma particular de hacer un amarre, y así como amarraron a Isaac, amarraban a los animalitos de la ofrenda de la mañana y de la tarde de todos los días que hubo templo. And I think also we get the beginning of the shofar from this story, don't we? Creo que también el principio de usar el shofar viene de esta historia, because the ram was tied with his horns to the bush.
One shofar for this and one shofar for something like that. But okay, but it's a separate that has some allegorical meaning. But certainly in the merit of this thing, it has an impact on the world. That's what it means. It has an impact on the world and everything that will happen in the future. The impact of this thing. Of this act.
Hay otra enseñanza alegórica sobre los dos cuernos del ram, del carnero, que estaba atorado en los arbustos. Un cuerno para una cosa y otro cuerno para la otra, pero ahora no es parte del shur de hoy. Lo que sí podemos destacar es tantas cosas por el mérito de Yitzhak siguieron cumpliéndose durante toda la vida del templo y aún hasta ahora que tenemos el shofar. En mérito a ese día, a cómo ese papá y ese hijo obraron, en mérito a ellos, el holocausto continuo los recordó, el sonido del shofar los sigue recordando.
Okay, very good. I guess there's no more questions, so we can stop with this. So be well,
Creo
everybody.
que si ya no hay más preguntas, aquí terminamos.
And be well. Gracias por traducir. Thank you for translations.
Thank you for the teaching.
Okay,
Nunca
good.
había visto yo la parte de adentro del corazón de no renegar, solo había visto que un hombre de 37 podía haberle dado un knockout a un anciano de 137, pero nunca había visto esta parte de que ni siquiera renegaron. I had always seen the fact that a man of 37 years old could have easily knocked out an old man of 137, and he didn't.
Right.
But I have
Right.
never ever seen that inside their hearts they were free from any bad thought.
Right. Mhm.
Nunca había visto que adentro estos dos grandes hombres no tenían ni siquiera un pensamiento de reclamo. Yo solo había visto que físicamente podrían haber evitado el mal rato, pero no lo hicieron.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. Muchas
Okay,
gracias.
be well. Shalom. Shalom.
Vio la barra muchas rayitas. You just raised the level of obedience so high.